Hey, everybody, Kevin here with another episode for you of the Real Estate Without Renters podcast. Thank you, first of all, as always, for listening to the show. And I was checking those reviews last week and do appreciate it. A lot of 5 stars on there. Love that. If you love the show, please go ahead and give me a nice 5 star rating there. It does help, believe it or not, and I do appreciate it. Also, thanks for sharing the show. If you are part of a meetup group or real estate meetings or really any kind of investment meeting that you're looking at, yeah, referring the show, I appreciate that a lot. I can't tell you how many times people just contact me because you can go to my website, of course, and there's ways to book 30-minute calls with me. That's very simple. And a lot of people do that just from listening to the show. So thanks again for sharing the show. And as always, I like to bring good guests to you all the time. And I've got another good one for you today. His name is Noah Harris. I'll introduce him to you in just a minute. But I know Noah, I know his wife, and we've got some history involved with real estate going way back, and more recently at mastermind events together, having a lot of fun. And I'm attending an event that he has up in Columbia, South Carolina. So if you're in the Columbia area and you're looking for a really good real estate event to learn from, but also to network from, you'll hear a bit about that today as well. And of course, he's also involved in the real estate and the real estate note side of the business. You know, the real estate note side of the business includes originating loans, borrowing loans, creating loans of good quality, buying loans, all sorts of things like that. So there's so many different tie-ins with real estate and real estate notes because, again, after all, you listen to the podcast, real estate notes is just about the financial side of the real estate business, which is important no matter what you're doing on here. So please welcome everybody, Noah Harris. Hey, Noah.
Hey Kevin, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, man. I enjoy talking to you all the time, and the year goes by so quick. Your last event I attended, you had a great audience there, and it's been a while. You know, time just kind of slides by, doesn't it?
It has, man. I got so much going on this month. If I can get through this month, then I can do anything in life, I feel like, with everything that's on our schedules. But it is flying by, and I can't wait to see you soon. I can't wait to see you again at our next real estate event that we've got going on here in Columbia, South
Yeah,
Carolina.
and that's
So
on the 6th, so it's coming up really soon. As you listen to the show, this is coming up April 6th is the event up there, and I'll be driving up and attending that, and 6th and 7th, I should say, right?
yep, that's right. And I do appreciate you taking those 30-minute coaching calls you were talking about because I get questions all the time about notes and is this a good note and what do I look for and I always send them your way. So I appreciate you having
Yeah.
an open door for people that are looking for help. So thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. It's my pleasure to do that because it's just, this business, as we said, whether it's real estate or real estate notes, at the end of the day, it's a people business, right?
100%.
Building
100%.
relationships and everything. Because you do coaching as well, so you've got your feet in a lot of different areas there. I know your wife does a lot of Christy does a lot of mobile home up in
Yep.
the Carolinas. Great business to be in. You're not only on the money side, but also teaching people how to lend money and do it the right way.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, Kevin, a lot. And I think the more education a person has in all aspects of real estate, the better investor they're going to be no matter what, you
100%
know.
agree with you. Yeah, it's amazing when you know more things, you start to see more opportunities, right? I mean, that's really what it is. And when you don't have the knowledge base, it's out of ignorance, and I don't mean ignorance in a negative way. It's not being stupid, it's ignorance is you just don't know what you don't know, and all of a sudden you get educated on something. It could be just something really simple like that, one little thing, and you're like, oh, that's how it works. And next
Exactly.
thing you know, you start to see opportunities. So on let's focus for a minute on money lenders. So you're a coach. You've been doing coaching for people and getting them started in the business and doing private loans, and that's got to be just thriving like crazy right now as bank loans have been tighter, huh?
It has it seems easier than ever to work with private money lenders because people are looking for options and to be a private money lender because like you said things are tightening or interest rates are relatively high going the more traditional routes. So people are coming in and creating win-win opportunities whether you're a borrower looking to borrow for your real estate or a lender looking to put your money to work and have it secured by an asset that's hopefully worth much more. And that's why I got back into coaching recently,
Mhm.
and you and I both met at the Private Money Club events and some of those networking events, and I've been doing some coaching with Private Money Club. And a big part of that is just like you said, I'm a big believer in using private money lending as an avenue for investors. I've
Mhm.
been doing it for over 10 years. I'm also a big believer in the lending side because I've seen the people that I've helped hit their goals and make great returns on their money, and I'm a big believer in those win-win scenarios. But I've also had friends, Kevin, that have lost money private money lending, and it kills me to hear that when someone comes to me and says, "Hey, it's been 2 years. It was supposed to be one. I haven't got my money back." And I ask them, "Hey, did you have these documents in place?" And they're like, "No." Did you ask these questions before you wired the funds and signed the paperwork? No. And I'm like, "Well, what were you doing?" And so I felt like because I'm such a big advocate for private money lending, that I also have some sort of responsibility to, educate the people around me around how to do it the right way,
Yeah,
you
because
know?
on the surface it seems simple. Oh, you're just giving a loan, so what's the real estate worth and what are you lending on it? And perfect. And you know what? Sometimes it does go just that way. Right? It's just like, well, and then somebody can get sucked into that. I always told people on every deal you learn two ways, in money and knowledge. And that seems to be a sliding scale. Sometimes you learn a hell of a lot, but you either lost money or made no money. Other times you make a lot of money, but you didn't learn anything. Neither one of those extremes are normally very good because you might do a loan super simple. You just had a simple document and the people did what they said. Everything worked out market wise. You got paid back and go, well, hell, this is easy. I don't know. What do I need to pay for? Why are all these people getting educated on this? Is super simple. And then the next one just brings you back down to reality where, yeah, you missed a document or you missed an evaluation or you didn't think through some of that. What are some of the mistakes that you're seeing that people have made? You mentioned, I know you coach them and they don't make those anymore, but what are some of the mistakes that you see
Yeah.
people doing?
Yeah. I need that on a coffee mug, by the way. What is it? You either pay with education
Yeah, you
or
get
money.
paid. Yeah, two ways. You get paid in money and knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I think sometimes people just get so attracted to the interest rate. Someone advertises something sexy, 15% to
Yeah.
20%, and you're like, wow, what could go wrong? It's a great interest rate, and then they might not do a full due diligence because their greed gland is salivating a little bit. I think that's where people get hung up. They see the interest rates, but then they don't have a mortgage. They only sign the promissory note.
Mm.
I see that so
Really?
much
They don't
all
have
the
a
time.
security agreement?
They
Wow.
don't know any different. A lot of folks, like they think the
They make
promissory
it more
note.
like a personal loan versus a secured. Oh man.
And sometimes with real estate investors, if they're working with hard money lending companies and they want to use private funds for like the down payment amount, but the hard money lending company doesn't necessarily want to see the money coming from a private money lender for the down payment, then they'll go and these are common mistakes, and they're smaller loans, and sometimes people with the smaller amounts that want to get started are a little bit more eager or vulnerable because those opportunities don't come along as often. So they're like, oh, you know what? I know it's risky. It's a second position. Even if you even if you do it the right way, it can be a little bit riskier, right? So I just see, things like that. Just really, I call them fundamentals.
Yeah, they almost sound like fundamentals, but I guess a fundamental, if you know the business, is one thing, but if you don't, it's like,
Yeah.
it's so funny you say the
Yeah.
fundamentals. When I built my current course, I think I was the only guy in the note industry that teaches the fundamentals. Everybody goes to the shiny objects. And I said, no, 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 the fundamentals are involved in every single deal, every time. In performing notes, non-performing notes, loans, you have to understand these fundamentals. I mean, that's the
What are some what
building
are some of the
block.
funda what are some of the fundamentals that you look for in a note when you're buying it?
Well, it starts with understanding what the documents are. Like you just said, there's a note and there's a security agreement. Well, what does the note do? What does a security agreement do? What types of security agreements are there? How does that affect the deed, which is the ownership of the property? What happens See, because for example, fundamentally, whatever's in that security agreement, whether it's a contract for deed, a deed of trust, or a mortgage, no matter what it is, all the rights and obligations of the entire loan structure and the security are in that document. But I think what happens is the people who maybe come from a real estate background, that's where I've seen the most guilt. They're used to just sitting at a closing and signing every document that's shoved in front of them.
Yeah.
It's all the time. They don't read them. Now, I'm not saying you have to read every single document, but boy, you better know what the heck's in them. Especially if you're on the note side of the business, whether as a lender or as a borrower or as a note buyer, what are my rights and obligations? And that's what it comes down to. How do I have to foreclose, or can I evict? What can I evict for? Is it for non-payment of loan? What about taxes? What about insurance? What about property upkeep? And and the type of loans that you're talking about with private loans, I could see where people do a whole loan instead of doling out and keeping money aside to say, once you do enough rehab on the property, show me the pictures, then I'll release more money for the next round of rehab, instead of giving all the money to them and all of a sudden it disappears and now you're stuck with a half rehab property taking a note back. So
Yeah.
the fundamentals start with the documents, in my opinion, and then understanding the numbers that involve risk and reward. In our business, in yours, it's more investment to value. Mine, it's yours is more loan to value on the lending side. Mine's more investment to value, but it's the same thing. It's what is my risk,
Right.
and that sort of thing. So those fundamentals, if you cover those things, then you can afford to make small mistakes,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
the small mistakes are recoverable. Big ones aren't.
Right. It's funny, we're watching, the college basketball and on
No,
NCAA and March Madness, and you talk to like the coaches, and anytime someone veers off track, it's like the coaches will say, "Well, let's get back to the fundamentals of basketball or whatever," right? And so part of like what I do with the coaching is every single week we practice the fundamentals, like understanding, we need a mortgage, we need a promissory note, we need insurance, right? All of the things that you want to see, lenders, title, policies, and things of those nature. Like, let's practice getting great at explaining how that works, how that benefits a lender, why as a borrower, it's appealing to people to provide those documents. Those are like, when I think of fundamentals, I think of stuff like that,
yeah,
and practicing that. And one of the things I love to do though is really teach people how to present opportunities.
hmm
Lots of times I'll have folks who are great at the number crunching. They see the value in it, whether it's the lender side or the borrower side, because I teach both sides, both perspectives. But if you're a borrower, like, you might have a great real estate deal, but if you don't know how to explain these things and put together a package and be able to present where someone can in 5 minutes say, wow, that makes a lot of sense, this looks like a good opportunity for me, then that deal will probably never get funded. So I really enjoy working on the sales side of things as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you said it properly as well, because it's the same thing I think of. You don't show people a potential deal. And I know we say that a lot in the business. People don't want to get into deals. They want opportunities, so you're showing them an opportunity. And I've toyed about putting together a course, and I just, finding the time is another thing. But I've spoken with people who have platforms that sell notes and stuff. And these people don't know how to sell a note. I'm like, show the opportunity, and some people, I don't want to put all my documents out. It's like, what are you selling then? You want to sell me a car without showing me the mileage and what it looks like,
Right? Yeah.
what damage it's had in the past. I mean, I have to buy it blindly. I mean, come on,
I
show me an opportunity. And I think you're right. When you do that, and again, whether you're a borrower or a lender or note seller, it's like, hey, this is why this is a good deal. Again,
I like that course. I think you should do that because we live in a world right now where everything is like text message and very very digital. It's not very as much face to face, and so but at the end of the day, the ability to sell and communicate is
yeah,
so important in business,
yeah.
right? And we're in the note business, so I don't know if you. I mean, you're the master at it, so I'm sure someone
Well, I
can
did,
teach us
I was doing
something.
personal consulting with this guy that was referred to me and he goes, yeah, I've had this note and it's not selling. I'm like, well, all right, well, show me what, and I just, picked it apart. I'm like, well, here's why it's not. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not, you're not showing opportunity. That's what it comes down to on that. And yeah, I think that's a big part of it. So you're doing this kind of coaching through Money School, right? Tell us how that.
Yeah, money school, private money club. Guys, if you're looking for a place, I like to compare it to like a fishing pond. You know, like you got like your secret spot where you just throw a
Mhm,
line out and you get a bite every single time.
mhm.
I feel like Private Money Club has been that for me and my business, and where it's if I was a borrower, if I was a real estate investor, and I wanted to go find private money, and I didn't know where to go or who to talk to, you start with your friends, you start with your family. They all think you're crazy. You go to real estate investing clubs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know a little bit about that, but I
And you
don't
got the
know
sharks in the
you."
pond, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And so, who knows what's going on there, and it can be tough for people to build
Yeah,
those relationships. Whereas with Private Money Club, everyone who's in Private Money Club understands private money lending,
right.
and you're either looking to borrow or looking to lend. And what I've found is there's a lot of people in there looking to lend,
Yeah,
and so I just feel like it's a good, healthy place where you don't have to craft your elevator pitch as much because you walk in the lobby and everyone's there already greeting you. You're not getting in the elevator with anybody. They're all
right.
right there saying, "Hey, what do you do? Like, tell me about your business." So, Private Money Club, if your guys are listening, I'd go check it out. It's a good resource that Kevin and I have both spoken on their stages and
Yeah. And they could
run
Google,
by
so
you.
is it just privatemoneyclub.com or they have to go to another
Yeah,
site?
privatemoneyclub.com. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely check
And
that
learn
out.
about that. And yeah,
You can
it has been a good resource because I'll tell you what happens there too. And in the last presentation I did um, for that group, I had a deal where one of their members owns a property and then sold it with financing, right? So they created their own note. They
Okay.
kept it for a year. It was a 5-year note. They kept it for a year and then wanted to cash out of that note. So they're also a client of mine. And they said, all right, here's the note. Here's how I created it. Now they created a really good quality note. So I went ahead and bought it. And so that person got their money back that they needed for yet another deal and made their profit. And I was just collecting the payments. Payments were on time every single month, as we thought they were based upon the previous year's payment history. And then the guy had it completely renovated, and instead of carrying the loan out for 5 years, he decided to sell the unit to someone else, and we got cashed out. Like a year and a half. Just a great story. So again, it is working together on both sides. So you're helping people, and the Money Club is helping them create these loans, and then if they want to cash out on the loans, hey,
Yeah.
I'm a part of that side of it too, where they can. And I don't think we've had that kind of liquidity in this market. The market being the lending market. I don't think there's really ever been that much liquidity on the private side. And I think Private Money School, has something to do with that, as well. But, a lot of people wouldn't do private lending where I don't want to be stuck in a deal for long term or, something like that. And now all of a sudden they find out, oh, I don't have to be. I can be cashed
Yeah.
out and I can turn around and sell it. So there's a lot of mobility on that. So you've borrowed money also through private lenders on Money Club and your business, and
Absolutely,
Christy has.
absolutely.
And yeah,
I've got a line around the corner. It's like my full-time job now, trying to find real estate for people that are like, hey, I want to do business with you, which is a good problem to have because I'm still actively I'm
Yeah, the
mostly
harder part, yeah, when the harder part's finding the real estate versus the money, it's an interesting shift.
yeah. People don't.
Most
Sometimes
people,
people
most
think I'm
people have the
full
hard
of
time
it.
finding
Yeah,
the money. Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's been a blessing, to find that group and to network in there with you and all those other people. But I thought about you the other day, because you're into mobile homes like my wife Christy is, and we've been
Yeah.
buying mobile homes and doing mobile home deals. And we're buying this one manufactured home. We're buying it from Chicago Title. The title company took it back because the manufactured home is actually 10 feet on the neighboring property.
Oh, yeah.
And our plan originally was, okay, well, how much is it going to cost to just move it 10 feet over? And then we got a house for like next to nothing or whatever, right? And and we were out at the property, and Christy and I were thinking, we're like, well, I wonder who owns that property over there, like the neighboring one. Maybe we could just buy the lot because it looked like a mobile home had been there before, and there was some debris, and it had power but no house. I said, I wonder if we could just call that guy and buy his, and then we don't have to move it. And now we got twice the land, or we could do
Right.
something with that one or whatever. And we called the
You got to
guy,
file
and
for an easement, and yeah,
yeah, didn't even need. Yeah, we just have to like combine the parcel. Like
yeah,
they're both there's two nice lots on a nice paved road. In South Carolina, as you know, we have these communities lots of times where it's not like a mobile home park, but it's a
right,
community, and they're all manufactured
sure,
homes, just like anything.
sure.
And so we ended up calling the guy, finding him, and of course Christy calls him, and I hear him on the phone. If you're trying to buy my house, I'm not interested. And like right away he says this, and he must have Googled her number or something. But my wife says, well, what if it was this one? And he goes, all right, I'm listening. And so we're buying that one. But come to find out, he's done this, for 40 years, and he's financed a lot of his
Sure.
mobile homes to people and created notes. And I was like, oh, this is right up Kevin's alley here.
Yeah.
So lots
Yeah,
of opportunities.
I'm working on it. It's funny that you said that. I didn't even connect that till you mentioned it. I just this morning and yesterday, I'm working on this scenario. So there's two mobile homes owned by the same guy, owns them free and clear, and both are rented, and they're right next to each other. And I've got a real estate investor, and this is over in Central Florida County over here, Polk County, and she wants to buy these mobile homes that are rented, and the guy selling them, we're trying to figure out how's the financing and such gonna work. So what he's gonna do is seller finance it by creating a note, and then he wants to sell the note in part, selling a partial of the note as soon as he creates it. In other words, no payment history, anything like that. So what I'm doing is putting together this scenario, going, okay, if you create the note this way, and you do it for this interest rate and that interest rate, or we create two notes and we do it this way, here's how much I'll pay for it as soon as the note's created. So they're doing the origination, but already putting together a scenario where I'm going to buy that note after it's created. So it's kind of like we used to call it a table funded deal. They create the note, they get cashed out for all or part of the note right there, plus the down payment. I collect the payments for X number of months, and it goes on. But we're structuring it the right way to make sure that they make the money that they need to make, I make the money that I need to make, and just putting the whole thing together before we put the deal through.
I'm gonna call you about this one here because we're trying to figure out, what our exit strategy is going to be, and
Yeah.
I don't see why we couldn't move another mobile home on that other lot and just, make the lot lines a little bit different so everything's good and kosher,
Yeah.
and then turn around and we could easily owner finance, uh, if not both
Yeah,
of
that's why I
them.
said you could put an easement in there just to take care of the fact that it's over the line, and then it's
Yeah, true.
so there's a lot of solutions, everybody.
Yeah, man, that's fun. It's fun
Forget
being problem. If you like
talking into a
problem
microphone
solving and
sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, if you like thinking about stuff and problem solving and making money, this is a good business to be in. So
Yeah, it really is. And whoops, I just hit a wrong button there. There we go. I'm back. Um, great. So that side's going good on the coaching. You guys are busy on the real estate side of things. Getting a little harder to find properties right now in your area, or
I don't think so. I don't know. I feel like people are always dying or going through some heartache, you know what I mean? And we're just dialed in on the motivated seller
yeah,
side of the business, and
right,
we keep our heads down, and we got our marketing out there, and I don't think it's really slowed down much as far as like the motivated seller.
right.
And then when we do a house right and we fix it up right and beautiful, they seem to sell because I don't think, a lot of people are doing it like we do,
Yeah.
on the flip side.
I'd
Interest
say
rates are, a little harder. We just did a beautiful house down in downtown Columbia, and I was a little concerned because it was a much higher price point than what we normally flip houses in. This house we relisted it for I think it was maybe 625 or 630, and we had it under contract in 10 days. But again, when we flip houses, we leave no excuses not to pick our house. And that a lot of that goes into the acquisition. Like, okay, what's the worst case scenario with this property? What's going to happen? Why won't someone like it? What does the neighbor's house look like? We take all of these things into consideration.
Yeah.
And but I do know I do have friends that things aren't as fortunate because maybe they don't have those same systems or thought processes.
Yeah, probably don't know the market as well. I mean, it takes time to really be so in tune with the market like you guys are. When somebody's starting out, again, this is where the education part comes in. You might have the skill set, but man, to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on, where it almost just becomes natural. Because I wanted to ask you that question because I know there are other people who's go, man, our problem is just finding more deals now. It does take a while to really know the market. How have you guys been able to do that? Have you just broken off parts of the town that you focus on only, or you look at everywhere, but just in certain sources? You don't have to give away your secret sauce, but I'm just giving somebody some idea there.
Yeah, no secret sauce. I'll give you guys a couple ideas if you're watching. We're big on pre-probate marketing, so we actually market to folks that if someone passes away and their name is attached to real estate, we have a list provider that gets us that data right away. And
Mhm.
so we begin, that's one of our avenues that we have a pretty good success rate with.
Yeah, and those are
And
motivated sellers because they'd rather take the inheritance to cash. They don't want to deal with the property. They don't want to pay the taxes, cut the lawn, right? I mean, they'd rather,
yep,
oh, you can do this and we can cash out and not have to deal with it. Great.
yep. And
Yeah.
then and that's most of our single family stuff. And then with the mobile homes and the manufactured homes, I don't think people have really caught on yet that this is a great avenue. And I think our competition is a little less than it would be in a single family home neighborhood in a good school district. We're out in the country. We might drive 30, 40 minutes to the middle of nowhere to go look at our properties, but sure enough, when we get them done and they sell fast because people
Yeah.
want to be on land and
Mhm.
so I just don't think people are looking there as much. And then I'll give shout out to my wife, Christy, because as a coach and as an investor, lots of times people will come to her and they'll present opportunities or they'll want to have lunch to pick her brain or whatever. And I think a lot of people would say no to those types of requests, especially someone who's as busy as she is.
Right.
But Christy always says yes. If you want to take my wife out to lunch, bonus points if you invite me to. What she does is she teaches people what we look for and
Yeah.
how to spot deals, and so she has this whole little army of people that
Yeah, the
um,
Bird Dog Network.
are finding opportunities, and she's teaching them how to market, how to call the people and do so she doesn't have to do a lot of that. So she's got a lot of people out there looking, and that includes real estate agents as well.
Yeah.
We like to teach our agents. Anyone who's willing to listen and go out to lunch with us or watch a 10-minute video that we have on our website, hey, this is how we make our offers. In my mind, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook or in my circle and you're a real estate agent and you had a bad month, that's your fault because you could have called 400 houses on the MLS last week and see which one would have taken a 30% discount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we kind of teach people how to go be deal finders and makers for us, and they bring us opportunities. So those are three ways that I think keep the funnel
Yeah,
full.
keep the deal flow coming to you. Yeah, and that's such a smart way too. And I especially like, real estate agents are having a tough time right now too, so they're looking for opportunities. It comes back to that word, and you network with them, they have access to information and they're looking to make a little bit of money, but they have to be told what you're looking for, for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah. You can't just say
this,
make
not
me an
don't give me
offer.
this. Here's what I'm looking for. So of all of the accessibility that they have to information, hey, you find stuff that fits in this category, send it my way. We're buying them all the time. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And it's and in markets like this, as investors, as business people in general, like you just have to be flexible and figure out ways. The money flows somewhere.
Hmm.
Where's it going? Where's the opportunity? Opportunity flows somewhere. Where's the opportunity? I think those three things that we talked about with baby boomers
Yeah.
and things of that nature, inheriting property or passing away, like that's a big opportunity.
Yeah.
Mobile homes, uh, right now, I mean, geez, affordable housing at all-time high. The need for it, right? So.
Yeah.
That's kind of where our eyes are.
Yeah, and I think it does come down to, in all of this, the ability to identify an opportunity. I mean, that's what it is. That's the muscle that everybody needs to exercise. So if you're able to find that opportunity and be able to present it, in a way that shows it's an opportunity, as you were saying, the money's out there, right? I mean, there's more lenders. I mean, we're just talking just one entity, the private money club, but I mean, there's
Yeah.
lenders there just sitting there waiting to lend. I mean, they're ready to go. So, it's not the I don't have the money. It's you don't know how to know to identify the opportunity, and that's the thing that people need to know. And if that takes education, well, that's your first investment, right? I mean,
Yeah.
get knowledge where you know how to find these opportunities and then get them in front of the right people, and amazingly things happen.
I focus on what I'm good at. I am not a financial whiz by any means. And, sometimes when I hop on calls with you, I feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn. Or if, with the Private Money Club with Chris Snoggle, and they do,
Yeah.
he's studying the white pages, and the curves are inverted, and we're buying T-bills and all of that stuff is great. Just tell me what to do. A lot of it goes
Yeah.
right over my head. And, people always ask, what do you think about the market? I'm like, I don't know. I'm still buying people that are dying. I'm buying their houses. I don't know what else,
Yeah.
there is to really consider, So I rely on folks like you to kind of keep me big picture, and focus on what's on the horizon,
Yeah, I
So
think there's big economy, but there's also your own personal economy, and the
yeah,
most important one's your own personal, economy, and doing what you just said. And, there's influence from the bigger marketplaces, but
yeah.
yeah, unless you're really studying that all the time, it can get overwhelming, and then you start to think a little too much about everything, and the houses,
I'm great. I know.
everything's
I
burning
know.
down.
I'm grateful to be in South Carolina. I know that because it seems like everyone here is pretty happy with everything that's going on in their world.
Yeah.
And as you know, have gone to college here and have some
Yep.
ties to South Carolina. I've been here a little over 12 years, and it's been nothing but great to me and my family. And so, if anyone's listening and you're from South Carolina or North Carolina or Georgia and you want to connect, come hang out. Take us out to lunch and learn a lot about real
Yeah, and
estate.
they can hit you up on
Reach out.
Facebook and that sort of thing as
Yeah.
well. And so send me your FaceLink stuff and all that. I'll make sure we put that on the
Okay.
post and people can connect with you. And I know it might be too late by the time my listeners hear this, but if you want to go to a great event, the re-up event that they're putting on, it was really, really good last year. I got to tell you, they had great speakers. They had a great audience. They had good networking opportunities. I mean, everything was done right. The facility, I mean, it takes a heck of a lot of effort to put that together. I know that, and appreciate that. So if you're up in that area and you want to attend, just please go to what is it under now? Re-up? No, there's something else.
Yeah, re-up. You can go to actually, if you cruise over to ChristyDuckett.com, you can learn
Christy
all
with a
about
Y, right?
Christy with a Y. Yep, Christy Duckett, Duckett, ChristyDuckett.com, and you can learn all about us and the re-up event.
Yeah, and it's a good one. If you can't do that, hit them up on Facebook if you're interested in lending money, learning about lending money, borrowing money, borrowing mobile homes. They do a lot up there, and they've got a big group of people that you've taught up there. So you're doing good deeds, as we say, as well in,
Yes,
in
sir.
the business. So, but hey, I appreciate you being on, and look forward to seeing you and Christy next weekend, and seeing the rest of the group up there. So thanks again.
We're looking forward to it. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks everybody for listening. And again, thanks for sharing the show. Look forward to putting together another episode for you real soon.